If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey, it's JD here, and I want to welcome you all to the first of three roundtables that we will be doing. We're going to do them after every 10 songs. We're going to be joined by a round table of panelists, experts, pundits, if you will, and today is no exception. He's not Justin from St. Louis. He is Justin St. Louis, motherfuckers. There he is, back from the Discovering Downie days.
God damn.
Joining us around the table.
What an
Good
intro.
to have you, buddy.
Good to be here.
Sarah
Damn.
J is back with us from the previous round table and the Sunday night jam, the Sunday evening jams. I almost said Sunday night jams. Oh my gosh, I'll get people so confused. Wow, I look so goddamn pale again. What's up with this? So there's that. We are also joined by our friend Andrew Schmidt in Florida.
Hello,
Andrew with the Tragically hip cap on. I
Nice.
love it very much. How you doing, sir?
Now for Plan A on the shirt. Doing great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Excellent. Well, we're here today to discuss the list of 40 to 31, the 10 songs that have been released so far. Fair game, though, is 169 to 41, and we'll get into all of that as the evening progresses. But for now, what I want is, Sarah, I want you to remind everybody of your go-to record. And you know what? You're going to remind us, but it's probably a different record than you told us last time.
You know, it's funny. I was making my notes for this and I was like, all right, I'm going to say the same thing because it's always and forever will be in Violet Light, forever and ever. But lately, interestingly, I've been on a Phantom Power kick and I don't know why, but I've just been in it and my 10-year-old's been in it with me too. We've been playing it a lot in the car and I hear him like singing it in the house and stuff. So that's where we're in right now, but it will forever and always be, you know, in Violet Light is my favorite.
That's good to know. Justin, how about you, my friend?
Swap them. It's Phantom Power is my number one, and Violet Light is my number one.
Really?
Yep.
How do we not know that?
I love this.
That's just, I don't know. It's the era I guess I found them in. You know, and I've got a soft spot for music at work too because of just the timeline.
For which one? Sorry?
Music at work is also probably in my top 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great. fuck, it's so underrated. It's so underrated by the band themselves. It's underrated, which is, crazy town.
I want to
Andrew,
say though,
oh,
I do
sorry.
want to
Yeah,
say that
please.
that's my all-time, like cumulative listens would probably be in that order. But I really love the final record too, and I go to it all the time.
A final record.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Machine
went through
Column is awesome.
a big phase too,
Yeah.
where I was listening to that, and you're never disappointed. You're never disappointed. Andrew, we've got a couple questions for you. We're going to put you under fire here. I want to know. Not only your top record, your go-to record right now, but I want to know. No, I'll just go with that for now because I realize you're going to be on an episode coming up, and I don't want you to tell your Tragically Hip origin story here because you're going to do it on an episode. That's what I was going to do. So there's that.
Okay. Right now, Phantom Power's been my album forever, but right now, We Are the Same. I'm just over and over again with that. Like, ever since you did the Screamin' Summer, like, roundtable, I've been going to We Are the Same over and over again.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey?
Yeah. Kinda reignited for it.
How about you guys?
I
Where are you
haven't
with
spent
Rose?
enough time with that album. I need to. I really need to. And I admittedly have not spent enough time with that album.
Have you guys seen, with that album, the release? They did a release where you could buy tickets, go to the movie theater, and they'd give you the album, and they had a whole thing at the bathhouse where they played live, and they played
Oh,
every song.
right.
It was amazing,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's anywhere. I could never find it again, but I went and saw it.
That online when we did Getting Hip to the Hip. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there's references to Pete and Tim watching those and telling me to watch them.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know that I did because there's one with
was
Gord playing pool and singing about the Cajun
it
as
was
he's playing
one
pool.
it was one movie recorded at the bathhouse, and it was in movie theaters. You could only go there. It was only played
Whoa.
on the release day of the record. It was like something they did just for that. It
That's
was
so
maybe like
cool.
40 theaters. Yeah, it was a cool thing.
We got to
Oh,
find
man.
this.
Yeah. I think there's clips of it in the docuseries that's out.
There may be, yeah.
Yeah,
But it was a big
brief.
production from live from the bathhouse. It was pretty cool.
No shit.
Hmm.
Wow. Can I point something out that JD is the only Canadian here in the room?
I was totally going to say it earlier.
Yeah,
I
know,
was
right?
totally going to say it earlier after he introduced Andrew.
Yeah.
That's from the CD release.
That's
Look at
so
that.
cool.
That's
I
cool.
might have stole that.
That's okay.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
you need it's you're procuring it.
Yeah, they didn't need it. It was one night only.
Rehoming. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was totally going to mention this fact earlier, and then we just, kind of went on. But yeah, I think that's actually kind of funny.
You and I might be honorary Canadians, and judging by Andrew's hat, I think he might be too. But like,
Andrew's
you're
from
in Buffalo,
here, actually. So
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. So we're basically there anyway. All right.
Yeah, pretty much. We're here.
I didn't put that together when I was putting the list together. That's really funny. Even as I was writing my Justin St. Louis joke today, I should have put that together.
I know why you didn't know what my favorite album is because of all the conversations that we've had. We've never talked about the hip. It's only about the Gord solo stuff.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Sorry, folks. I'm just sending out a couple of invites here. There we go. Well, let's roll into the piss and vinegar, shall we? I heard probably the most negative feedback, for lack of a better phrase, about this week's song than I think I have for any other song so far. So let's start there. We won't start at the start. Let's start there with song number 31, Gus, the polar bear from Central Park. What are your thoughts on that beating out some of the other songs in the 10 that we've revealed. We won't quite go back to the 140 yet, because I know Sarah's chopping at the bit. She's like, my song was 152 or whatever it was.
How did you know I was going to say this?
It's not my first rodeo with you, man.
Yeah, we've done this a couple few times now at this point.
Yeah.
So don't start with me, because you know exactly what I'm going to say.
All right, let's start with Andrew. Let's put him on the spot.
I think it's lower on the list, but I wouldn't have it in my top 40. But I think a lot of casual fans kind of love it. Like it's a song you go with your girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh yeah, the polar bear song. It's neat." But
Polar bear song.
Yep.
seriously though, people who are
Yep.
casual, it's something they can grab onto quick. It's more straightforward and not as cryptic. You can get into it deep, but if you're just listening to a song, it's something you can latch onto. But live too, that song is way different than it is on the album. On the album, I could take it or leave it. Live, he like screams it. He gets into the feeling of it, and it's a whole different experience.
Yeah.
He almost listening to the episode, it's almost like he personifies Gus a little bit in the performance,
yeah.
right? Like
100%.
ambling around the stage and whatnot.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super cool.
It made it a whole different experience.
Yeah.
It's funny, you know, I used to work in coffee, and the same thing is true of wine. But when you're tasting these two products of a single origin, it's often important to taste them at different temperatures. And when you do that, you get different flavor profiles entirely. And I think the Tragically Hip's catalog is a lot like that. You've got these great songs, but then all of a sudden live, they take on this completely other ethereal quality, this amazing, fucking great quality.
Yeah.
And it just sort of changes the perception a bit. But I agree with you. I think that as it appears canonically on the record, it's probably not in my top 40.
Right.
J-Dog?
You know I hate this song.
Hate it?
Yeah, I really it's in my bottom 15. Yep. It really is.
Wow.
I do not
Wow.
like this song. And honestly, I think Gord is the thing that annoys me the most in this song. I know because Robbie shreds in this song. He's really good in this song, and Sinclair is also a beast. But like, there's just something about Gord Downie's delivery, and we all love Gord Downie. That's why we're here. But like, I can't do that song. I never have been able to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounded like a.
You wanted a hot take. There you go. There's your hot take.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not like a. Wow.
But Andrew, to your point though, my wife lived in Manhattan for a long time and loved Central Park, and she gravitated to at least the title of the song. She doesn't really listen to the hip, but she had me explain what this one was about. When we first started dating.
It's accessible.
Is it the longest titled song?
Oh, it's got to be. Well, I don't know. Escape is a hand from the traveling man.
Oh, in a world
Yeah.
of human mind. Yeah, there's quite a few. If you're listening to this or watching this, you can do that research for us. That would be great. Are there any particular songs on the list that stick in your craw? On this list,
on this list of 10?
Actually, other than Gus for Justin, are there any on here that jump out at you and maybe piss you off a little bit? That your song that isn't in the top 10 got thwarted by song X. Is there any?
I would say there's nothing that truly pisses me off, and even Gus doesn't piss me off. I get it. I mean, it's a popular song. Of course, everybody likes it.
Off is harsh, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, You're Not the Ocean was number 13 for me. And that might be emotional. I do love World Container a lot. And that might be an emotional pick. My daughter loves that song, and live next to Lake Champlain, which is not the ocean. And I scream this song every time I go over the bridge. I do love that song a lot. I love the video for it too. And it's even more, at the warmer this planet gets, the more relevant that song is. And, it's just, there's something about that song that it speaks to me a lot.
Same. It's in my top 20. So yeah, I feel yeah. There's a lot of and emotional too. It snuck in. It's number 20 on my list, and it was because I had come across it again and just had so many memories of hearing it back in the day. Just silly to say, but yeah, it's emotional too. Was my voting behind that too?
Ironically, there's a polar bear in the video, and I love that one.
How about you, Andrew? Is there one on there for you?
Emperor Penguin being that far down on the list, like a travesty.
Oh, good. I was like, where is he going with this? He's trying to pick a fight with me.
No, that's top tier. One of my favorite songs. I won't listen to it unless it's like I save it. Like I don't want to waste it and listen to it too much. It's a rarity to go to. I love that song.
Yeah, it is beautiful, and I will say that Hawksley Workman's version of it that you played was phenomenal.
Wasn't that great?
Beautiful. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to set up the Instagram stream while I do this. So if you guys want to continue, just briefly while I do that, because I'm terribly sorry.
I went way overboard on this when JD asked us for our top 20. And I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now, which is all color coded and
spreadsheet. As soon as you say spreadsheet, I just want to give you a wedgie.
Jamie, there are like 16 tabs on this spreadsheet. It's not even one.
You are speaking my language right now. I am such a spreadsheet nerd.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I love it.
My first real disappointment was at number 154. That was We'll Go To, and that was my number 31. I was like, this is going to be a hard ride for me.
That was number what for you?
It was my 31. I made a list of 50. Of course I did.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
That's torture. I don't know how you did that.
I'm glad that I was put under a time constraint. Like I had to produce my top 20 kind of quickly. And I'm glad, because if I would have had too much time to sit on it, I would have just way over analyzed it, just too much. So I'm kind of glad that I had to get it done, because otherwise it just way too much overthinking.
Get it done.
Although I listened to about half of my top 20 today. It was 74 degrees in Buffalo, and I went for a ride and had the windows down and listened to half of my top 20 list. I'm like, totally holds up every time.
I mean, I'm also going to say I will never be disappointed in the results of this. Like at any point.
Let me be very clear. The list is really truly just a way to get to talk to people and hear their stories. I think that's the most appealing part of the show. I've yet to have somebody like write me and go, "Oh my God, the show was so great yesterday. The Depression Suite at number 34, that was just the best thing I've ever heard, blah, 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 blah." No, it's always like, "Oh my gosh, the guest was so interesting," or "I got emotional listening to that episode," or "Wow, this person has such tremendous insight into the lyrics," or whatever. It's been nothing short of flabbergasting for me. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed getting to talk to the people. So no, of course, none of us are going to be disappointed by the list, but hey, content is king, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted to make sure that we shouted out all of the amazing guests that you've had on the show so far. And I'm just so excited for all the guests that are to come and all the stories that are to come. And the countdown is kind of like just the cherry on top in a way. It's hearing everybody's stories, and the excitement around all that is so much more than just the countdown.
Yeah. And, I enjoy that going into the conversation, the person, for the most part, doesn't know what number their song is. And so they can speak about it as objectively as possible. Like they're not trying to justify its position or to argue its position. They're simply talking about it as a song and then their experiences with that song. And that's the fucking powerful stuff, right? That this music just brings us all together and makes us feel dynamite.
Yeah. How are you keeping this under wrap? I don't think I would be able to keep the information to myself. It would be so hard.
Well, you noticed even in the documents I gave you tonight, I have a thing like blacked out, right? On the one list. And that was the number of votes that each song got. So yeah, I've even deregistered that information. So yeah, I don't know how I'm doing it. It's hard. I want to talk to somebody about it, but you know what? I'm going to be able to talk to a lot of people about it on October 4th. If you are around and you want to come out and talk about the Tragically Hip with like-minded people, watch a great hip cover band, and I don't know, just mingle and have fun. And here's the kicker: we're going to raise money for the ALS Society of Canada, and hopefully, we're going to raise a lot of fucking money. So there's that.
Hell yeah.
We are going to
Thanks for that segue, Sarah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I regret to inform you that I won't be able to make this one, but having just attended the last one for the Discovering Downie, what a freaking great time.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Jesus, it was so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm excited. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. Me too. All right. Here's one that sticks in my craw. I'm asking you guys a lot of questions, but I'm not answering very many. The Depression Suite, like you, Andrew, I feel like it's too low. And I think that it's because of the record that it comes on. And I know that you're, on a We Are the Same kick, but I don't think a lot of people have given that record enough time. When they do listen to it, they typically do say, well, the Depression Suite is a standout song. And they're not wrong. It's a standout fucking song on that record. I think it's a standout song in their catalog. I think it's a standout song that belongs inside the top 20. That's where I will die on a hill. So
yep. It's in my top 20. So yep. I'm a big fan of songs that are, over 7 minutes, nice long timestamp. I'm a child of 70s prog rock was what I was raised on. So give me a nice like multi-dimensional journey of a song and I'm there for it. So yeah.
I think that's what a lot of these have in common though too, is that a lot of them are off later records, later albums.
Yeah.
And I think I think that hurts some of them that just haven't been exposed to those longtime fans. But to that point, a lot of your guests have been relatively recent fans picking up the hip way later than I would have thought.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about the guest this week, Tracy. I mean, she just seemed like the coolest lady ever. I want to hang out with her.
Yeah.
She was so cool as shit. But it was really cool to hear her being a new fan. And what did she say? I wrote it here because it just like, what did she say? She was like, it was if the songs, what did she say? It was if every song had been in my heart forever.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a great line?
Right.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Can I ask how old you guys are?
I'm 40.
I'm 50.
40.
I'm 41. So, I mean, we're trending younger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've sort of been, I'm not keeping a spreadsheet on this one, but I've been kind of cross-referencing with your favorites, which was 20 years ago at this point.
Yep.
And how many new songs, would not have been around at that point. And I mean, look at what we've got right now in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are any of them on your favorites? I'm not overly familiar with the catalog. Like
Gus,
the track listing.
Gus is on it. And that's probably the only one from this 10. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to come back to as this list unfolds, like the point that you're making now, to kind of come back to it and kind of reference the data as the next 10 roll out and etc. Because that's a very interesting point.
Yeah.
It feels weird being like around for a long time. I remember getting into the hip. It was like 2000, 99, 2001. And so many people have been fans for years and years, but they were recording on cassettes. They had, microphones on stands at shows. They'd be trading cassettes back and forth. Or, then the internet kind of started growing up as the hip base, and all these people have been. I'm like, oh my God, I'm the new guy, but it's been a lot of people for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you say that people might have been saying you're the new guy, but the cool thing about that is, you kept flying the flag. Like,
right.
A lot of us people pissed off, like we pissed off after Phantom Power or Hen House.
Right.
Like a lot of people, like Hen House started to divide people, and then Phantom Power came out and it was like, oh no, return to form. This is a rock and roll record. Straight ahead. And then what comes after that record is Music at Work. And all of a sudden it was like, and Coke Machine Glow. And all of a sudden people sort of lost their luster a little bit, right? To a lack of a certain, or to, for lack of a certain phrase. So lost my train of thought, folks. Live. It just happened.
Well, you said you were having internet problems. I was like, oh shit, we lost them.
I was going to say, blame it on the internet problem.
Should have just said that. Yeah.
Next time you lose your train of thought, just freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at this list, and the one that Justin's got me thinking, that's what I was saying. You were flying the flag. You continued to support the band when people pissed off, the diehards. And for that, I commend you, because, I look back now, knowing what I know now, and those are fucking amazing records. But I had my brain elsewhere. I started having children, and I started working full time, like a real full time job. And it just stopped me from listening to new music for a while, which is the bane of anybody's existence.
Happens as you grow up, for sure. Well, and there was something too, somewhere along the way, somebody made the point of the fact that the newer albums and songs didn't get the time on the road. They didn't have the years of being played live for people to have those relationships of hearing these songs live and building that love with some of these songs. So that probably has something to do with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
does. With such a deep catalog, there were songs they had to play too.
Yes.
So you'd go to a festival show, they'd have a short set at a festival show, and you're gonna hit New Orleans is Sinking, Lock the Trunk of a Car, Courage, and then you have 4 or 5 spots to sprinkle in 40 or 50 songs. It made it harder, I think, for people to pick up. Totally. And then you had, a lot of it was just that drunk college frat boy crowd that Gord and the band kind of railed against, that just wanted Courage 100 times. They could play it 3 times in a row.
Right. They would just love every one of them.
Right.
100%. Yeah. It sucks so bad that that's the last album, we never heard it again. There's so many goddamn good songs on that album that got good live, in the brief time that they had to breathe.
I mean, what is cool is they did 4 tracks from that record every single night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything else was mixed up pretty much. But that record got played every single night on the tour. Now, the Foley probably did as well, and Day for Night probably did as well, but I think it was important to note that they did give that record some time, probably knowing that, they did know that was it, right? Yeah. That was it.
But like Hawksley kind of talked about that too. He was at that show with the helicopter going around. I was there. It was that crowd of, we just want to hear the radio hits and piss off for the rest of it.
Really?
Yeah, it's that festival summer.
Yep.
Rural Canada crowd that just, I want to hear the radio songs and that's it.
My mom calls them the dude bros.
The dude bros.
Yeah. Dude bros. She's not wrong.
Yeah. The dude bros. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Kirky boy, how are you? See, Kirk's in the chat.
That's right.
Yeah.
I feel like the dude bros would drive a really awesome fucking car, though.
No, they wouldn't. They'd have their mom's Chrysler Town and Country minivan. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd be a tag team.
No.
That's what I think.
Those guys.
I look at this list just to wrap up on the list, and then we'll broaden it out if you'd like. We don't have to, but we can. There's one that sticks out like a sore thumb on here, based on Justin's recent research, and that's Looking for a Place to Happen.
Yeah,
that's an old song, right?
That's the song
and a go-to.
It is. That's the song. That's the first time I came online, being aware of the Tragically Hip when I was 9, I think, riding around in the car with my dad. I remember being at a traffic light and we were listening to the station in Burlington, and a song came on that I'd never heard, and he goes, "Oh, the T Hip," and he cranked it, and it was, I remember the line, the T Hip, and I remember hearing the line, "Looking for a Place to Happen," and I was like, at 9 years old, I was like, "What the frig does that mean?" But I lost the hip for almost a decade between that song and finding Phantom Power. But I do remember very much that song being, oh, okay, that's a thing.
I love so much that you said that you were 9, because me and my 10-year-old he's just so into the hip, and I love it so much. And that just makes me so happy to hear you say that. He's going to grow up and just love it so much still.
My son's the same way. He's 11 now, but when I went to that final Kingston show, he wanted to go with me so bad. And he ended up sitting at home with a laptop on the floor in Florida, just watching it live. He just loves it.
You were at Kingston.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I was at Ottawa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I had Ottawa tickets. I sold them when I got my Kingston ones because I could only make one.
Fucking right you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah.
Well, let's broaden it out to the complete list at this point. What I am going to ask you, and I'm sort of asking you on the spot, so you don't have to, go wholeheartedly into this, I suppose. But I want to know which songs from the broad list you might replace with some of these songs. And it doesn't have to be in the spots that they're in.
How long you got here, JD?
Oh, how many lists?
I'm giving him my face too. I'm like,
oh no.
Oh God, here we go. Are you going to put up that list, or we're going to look it up here?
Do you really want us to answer this question?
I mean, like for me, I know that Don't Wake Daddy is in top 4. Like I know, in the bottom of my marrow, that Don't Wake Daddy is the top 40 song. And I'm looking down the fucking barrel right now, and I'm going to tell you, what were you thinking not voting for it more? What the fuck? So there's that. That's my stance.
You're right.
And I'm not looking for anything much more than that, folks. Like, is there something that you would, what would I swap out now? Woo. Okay, that makes it a bit tougher. But I would swap out probably Gus, which is funny because it's the highest ranked one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm upset at myself for this too, that Plan A doesn't get enough love. And every time I go back and listen to that album, which is frequent, I'm like, what am I missing? Like, how is this not always on repeat? Like it's such a good album, and take the weight of what's going on in Gord's personal life out of it, and it's still good music. And I'm not even in love with the hits from that album, but there's a lot of deep cuts. And Sarah, I know that we've talked about this a little bit, but like my list is irrelevant compared to the top 40 project. My top 5 are Gift Shop, Chagrin Falls, which is 54, In View at 46, Freak Turbulence at 124, and Leave at 76. So forget anything I have to say.
Yeah. Yep. We're riding that train together. Like, just forget anything we have to say. Yeah. I even put that in my notes. I was like, it's basically that. Like, just forget what I have to say because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Queen of the Furrows. Queen of the Furrows was 146 on the album, and it was let me look, 15 on my list. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Queen of the Furrows was 15
right.
on your list, Justin?
Fucking right. Yep.
Love
that
it.
That is a rock and roll song.
Yeah, I mean, my number one song is 118. So I'm excluding myself from this conversation.
Wow.
Gee,
what is that 118?
All Tore Up is my favorite song. Yep.
No kidding.
My number one.
Yep. Well, what I really appreciate about everybody here then around the table and presumably in the live chat is I think what's cool is that you're still listening even though your songs have been eliminated. And that's that makes me smile a bit, because I could see some people being like, nope, I'm out. It's a world possessed by the human mind. Wasn't in the top 10. Fuck you, JD.
One thing that I also have been keeping track of what's not on the list, and like Coconut Cream is either in the top 30 or it's not been voted for at all, right? Like,
I'll never tell.
You can't tell, right? But
that's right.
Yeah, I like that song. I think it's not only
if Coconut Cream's number one, I'm going to delete my participation.
Yeah, right. I'm with you. Yeah. So, but Andrew, I want to know, like, is your list more on track with this, or are you in the doldrums like the rest of us here?
I'm kind of in the doldrums. I'm all over the place because I skew much more towards the newer records, because that's what I was around for. I was around for the releases and the tours for those albums.
Yeah.
But then, like, I don't connect with the albums the same way. It's more live for me. It's live memories, live concert memories. So some of these songs just, they might be, Locked in the Trunk of a Car, which is classic, but I remember the long jams listened to on the albums, not the same. So I'm really all over the place with my list. It doesn't make sense if I look at it now. It's just kind of triggering memories when I'm making it.
I dig it.
Makes sense.
So if this is the top 10, other than all the songs that aren't on it that you would want to be on it, you'd be relatively happy because it's newer. You've got 2 from Plan A. You've got 1 from Man Machine Poem. Trouble at Hen House is there. Yeah, you got a little bit of. This is a bully base.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Everything.
Like Love Is a First for me. That's up high on 10.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's such a different song, but that's probably the one I never jumped in. That's the one I would pull up into the top 40.
That's my number 24. Yep.
Yeah.
So number what, Jeff?
24 for me.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was way ahead of its time.
I think that you're right about it because it was so goddamn good live.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I never saw it live.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, on first probably half a dozen listens, I really disliked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't love the Depression Suite because it feels like it's 3 songs and not 1, but Love Is a First sounds more proggy to me, and it sounds it's weird, and I think that's why I like it. And
true story.
Yeah. I really, it's something completely different, and love or hate Bob Rock, if he had an influence on it, good on him.
I think if Love Is a First was released now, I think it would be a radio song. I really do.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. Why do you think that, Andrew?
I don't know. It just seems more modern than when it came out. Like it seems more like what's poppy now, what's popular now, what's going on now. It's heavily produced, but harder to do live, but it rocked hard live, and it
Yeah.
just it feels more of its time now.
I can see
Yep.
that. Yeah, I can see
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
I like the little breakdown too. It gives you like I appreciate it now, but at the time I didn't like it because it felt
Right.
artificial. But
Right.
I appreciate now the Bob Rock's attempt, and it's not failed, but it's obviously you can't capture the live in a song, but he really does try to capture it with like sort of a Gordy rant,
Right.
happening in the middle of the song, during the bridge and whatnot. Um, yeah, nice pick.
And playing it live, they always tried to make it fun. You could see he always got into it. He was always trying to keep up the tempo the right way. Like it seemed like it was challenging but fun for them when they were playing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
well,
Gift shop. I would assume that's Craig. Top 10 is for the Depression Suite, maybe top 5. Wow.
It's a great tune. I love it.
whittle it down, Craig. Whittle it down. Come on. I want to know where you stand. Is it top
Didn't
10 or is it top 5?
Yeah,
Big
didn't he
difference,
submit a
buddy.
list? Don't we know the answer?
Number 7.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have actually. I didn't keep all the lists. Jesus Christ. That stuff
Oh,
is
I would've.
destroyed. It's landfill now.
Uh,
No, I don't know where it is actually. It's on a spreadsheet somewhere. But I don't access that spreadsheet very often. I want to know what you guys think is to come. We can be as bold as predicting, anything inside the top 10, or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, what do you think is ahead for next week? And some of you are membership members, so you probably already know. But what is the number 30 going to be in your mind? Or if you want to be bold and pull vault into the top 10, you can do that. Or you can be completely random and say, I think 23 is going to be Pigeon Camera.
I think that there's going to be surprises at how low some of the hits are.
Ah.
Like I've just had this gut feeling that New Orleans is Sinking isn't going to make it into the top 25.
Oh wow. That would be newsworthy.
Right.
I think.
I mean,
That's right.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's the song we've all heard too much. And, it's great. It's a great song. It's the one that kind of made him famous, but all right, they've done better,
Mhm. I think the lower in the countdown that we get, I think that's when it's might start to get more interesting among the community in terms of opinions, and I think that's when it might get, I don't wanna say heated because it's not gonna get, but I think that's when we're gonna see more opinions from people and more emotion of where songs are placed as we get, as we didn't dwindle down. I think that's when people are really going to start getting a little more emotional.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either. I can see people, really cleaving to these songs and holding them dear to their hearts. And there's going to be people like you guys were knocked out of the water. Your number one song was like 118, I think you said, Sarah J.
Yeah.
But the people that their number one is like a number 8, like I feel like they're going to be even more sort of torn
incensed.
apart.
Yeah.
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 But I think that kind of speaks to this band and like their history too, is just listening to the 10 people you've talked to already, just the wide variety of where they're from, how old they
Totally.
are, when they started listening to, because I'm sure you're getting people, I've been there since 92 going to, see them in the clubs, and people who picked them up 5 years ago. That's what's giving you such a breadth of answers that I think it's going to make it interesting.
Yeah. It's just been a great deal of fun, and I'm glad you guys have enjoyed it too. Any other predictions that you want to take a stab at?
The softer songs are going to be your top 5, and that bothers me a little bit.
Okay, define softer songs.
I mean, it's going to be like Bob Cajun, Ahead by a Century, Wheat Kings, Fiddler's Green. You know, the ones that we all cry to, and that's fine. They deserve it. But at the same time, I do want something loud up there. You know, I want to feel like I'm at a show. You know, and not like this is ending on a sad note. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, Ahead by a Century is the last song they ever played. It was a tearjerker. And again, Robbie fucking shredded. And that was how he put his stamp on the band at the end, was like, I'm just going to tear this up. And Johnny filled for 20 minutes and it was fucking great. And I think, you know, everybody's like in love with that song anyway. And I don't know if it's number 1, but it's going to be up there.
Totally.
I would think so too, just based on the fact that they've played it last. You know, like I think there are a lot of people that assume that it's their favorite song as a result of that. And I don't know that it isn't, but you know, we'll see.
Like,
we shall see.
If Courage is number 1, I would love it. It's not my number 1, but like to get up in there and to kind of upset what I think is coming, I would be like, oh, great.
100th could be up there pretty high.
Yeah, 100th, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you know, it could be New Orleans is Sinking too. I might be totally off on that, but yeah.
Excellent. Well, anything else, folks? All right.
For you, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I really want to thank you guys for giving me some time on a Friday night. You know, that's pretty cool of you. So thanks. And
wait.
Got for you this week.
I do have, before we pick up our shit, Andrew, what was your number 1?
I have El Dorado and Emperor Penguin jumping back and forth between it. So like I don't know. It's just a dirty, heavy, greasy song you can throw on anywhere. And
hell yeah.
That's my number 2.
But yeah.
That's your number 2?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I'll have to send you my
top
20, Andrew. I'll send you my top 20.
All right, we'll trade. We'll trade.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a show. I'm going to listen to that show that you sent me. I'm going to listen to that.
And
tonight.
You have a Kingston YouTube to watch.
Yes, I do. I have that too. So
yeah.
Nice. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Pick up your shit.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.